World League Anaheim Open. I'm Fox, and I'm joined by Landon for this cast. We're hopping right into eUnited versus Fury Gaming. Fury Gaming is a team that has just come from the Open bracket, and they're facing off against eUnited, one of the more storied North American Call of Duty World League Pro teams. Landon, what are you thinking about this matchup so far?
I mean, to be honest with you, it's kind of hard to call in some cases if you are a Fury fan. I mean, it's looking definitely to go in eUnited's way. I do have some updates I can kind of give.
So it's easy to call.
I mean, it's easy to call, but it's hard to call if you're a Fury fan, is what I'm basically trying to say. I mean, it's not going to be a fun matchup. I think for the Fury guys, they're definitely going to have to grind this one out. But I think much like how you're feeling, I'm definitely calling eUnited to
right. So we can take a look at the series here with the maps on screen. First off is Scorch Hardpoint. If you're Fury, you're already terrified of what's going to happen in the next 10 or so minutes, if it even lasts that long. Crusher Search and Destroy coming up. Frost Uplink, Retaliation, Hardpoint, Breakout, Search and Destroy. We've seen a lot of Breakout, Search and Destroy in Game 5. So I don't know if that's just confirmation bias or what, but I'd love to see someone pull some statistics as to where Breakout, Search and Destroy ends up lying in our series count here. But Landon,
I'm not sure if we're going to see Breakout, Search and Destroy, to be honest with you. Not that I'm hating on Fury or anything like that, but it's just,
oh no,
I mean,
come on, be honest.
It's so hard to call. I mean, it's hard to not want to give eUnited the victory in this, especially like they have been playing pretty consistently. Of course, we do talk about the transition of losing Gunless, adding Swirly to the lineup. You know, Swirly hasn't been playing the best this weekend, but I mean, when it comes into playing against this Fury roster, I think they're going to be on all cylinders.
And still, we have to give respect to Fury Gaming. As far as we're concerned, they have a blank slate up until this point, right?
Well,
they're coming from the Open bracket.
They did beat Fnatic 3-1, so they have been playing pretty decently.
So they have a lot. They still have a story to tell, right? The main thing is we just got to give credit to eUnited right off the bat. Is that we know they're good. We know that they can win tournaments. Even with this fill-in of Swirly in place of Gunless, they still pose a decent threat in the North American Call of Duty World League. So here we go. Opening engagements on Scorch Hardpoint.
It's always difficult to actually run an MV4 when it comes down to Scorch, but if there is one player that you definitely would be watching out for, it's going to be Arstees. Man's going to have the MV4 out, at least for the first beginning hills. That's exactly what he can do. Long-range gun engagements toward that mid-map, as he'll find 3 off the break and giving eUnited some early seconds.
Yeah, now Arceus is going to be in position. He knows that his job is to watch those long lines of sight. And you can see the Fury Gaming players don't even bother going that way because they know he's going to be there protecting it. They all swarm towards middle map, and it's still not going to be an easy feat because they have to run into the face of Silly, Swarly, but the team kill comes in, lightening the load just a little bit as Heck comes through and takes down 2 on his own.
I like the gamer tag there from Heck. What the heck? I like that. That's pretty clever, I'm not going to lie, but either way, we'll see how the transition over toward the next hard point will be made. Silly holding down the last remaining seconds before we head over toward Turbine. Seems that it is going to be the side of Fury, who currently does have possession of those spawns, but we'll see how much longer they can hold those for.
Right, so taking a look at this Fury Gaming roster, they are on the setup. You got to imagine they're being led by someone like Remy, who does have experience on that Team Revenge roster of Advanced Warfare, who seems to have fallen from that form pretty hard over the past couple of years. See what you can do with this roster of amateur players. It looks like they're holding down Turbine pretty well, trying to find some time on this muddy hill that could put them right back into this game. As you see on the mini-map, eUnited spawning out so far. It's going to take them like 20 seconds to even get in range of a meaningful engagement here. Pristini finding one onto Remy. You want to see the rest of eUnited attack and follow up on that.
And here comes the push. 3 players ready to go. Side of Fury just trying to hold the line, trying to stay behind those head glitches for as long as possible, hold down some remaining time inside of Turbine. That's the reason why they're back in this game, for that exact reason. But the duo of Pristini and Arstees, the twin brothers, lighting it up in the kill feed to try and shut down this push. Coming into our Turbine, as Pristini will win that engagement and grant himself the last 9 seconds. But of course, the rotation coming in over toward Hangar. This is also a hard point where you can stack up quite a bit of time, so these gunfights mean very, very much.
Seaball trying to stay alive, and what he knows is a crucial position for his team to hold. He's going to be met by some eUnited players here shortly as they come up off the spawn. A little staggered, so it's going to give some free uncontested time towards Fury. The dive comes in. The Scarab opens things up with some damage and a little bit of disruption on the front line. And it doesn't look like anyone from eUnited is really able to follow up any of that, as more time is just going to Fury, and eUnited is still dancing around the hard point.
And Shipping doing a great job at watching the bottom side. Like you said, Fury holding strong, at least 4 right now, watching each other's cuts and making sure every angle is clear, essentially. Arstees currently being a little bit of a nuisance in the back. If he can, of course, hold this angle, maybe try to have a little bit of a pinch start to come into play. Misses the melee, and unfortunately, he'll pay for that one. Remy shutting down Arstees in that engagement, and Swarly has made it inside. Kind of one of the guys you're going to see hop in the hard point quite a bit for the eUnited lineup, and is also doing a great job at making sure his teammate Pristini has an easy time in it for right now, as it is going to be the side of eUnited who gets closer toward tying this game up as the rotation will come in.
3 players on middle map for eUnited, but if you take a look at the red arrows of Fury Gaming, they're already set up on drill, and they're set up pretty aggressively for this push. Still, though, 2 kills go in favor of eUnited. That spells trouble for the setup. They were just getting a decent lead, too, and eUnited has already broken it in seconds. This forces Fury Gaming out. Split spawns all across the map. This is not going to be an easy push. They are staggered all over the place right now, Landon.
Indeed, they are. When we talk about eUnited, I mean, this is a very aggressive team, and we've talked about it in the past. Guys like Pristini and even guys like Swarley as well, who are on the opposite rosters. I mean, this is a very aggressive roster. I mean, there's been times where I think in interviews that Pristini's been in, he's like, if I'm one shot and there's 2 guys in front of me, I'm going to challenge, believe it or not, just because I feel that confident in my gun skills. So be aware, if you are the side, if you're a fan of Fury Gaming, they have got to be able to withstand this aggressive rush that we're going to see coming out of eUnited time and time again.
Yeah, and the question is, for a lot of these open bracket teams, is how do you keep up with that sort of pressure, that sort of confidence and ability from these professional players to realize they have such a great supporting cast around them and that they have the ability to run straight through a tournament and at least make it to Championship Sunday. And that's just a difficult thing that Fury Gaming is going to have to do here. But as we get into our second rotation of hills, you got to notice, Fury Gaming had the lead at some point, and they're still only trailing by about 20 seconds. This is still anyone's game. They could put up a good fight here in map 1.
Yeah, they absolutely could. And like I said, we talked about Turbine, how important that is. I mean, we obviously see Fury Gaming holds down quite a few seconds inside of Turbine. eUnited really wasn't able to kind of force the issue quite a bit, not be as aggressive as they'd like to. And that's when we saw Fury Gaming start to kind of take a lead in some cases. So as the time does,
RCDs, please.
Starts to make something happen. It looks like the rotation over toward Turbine will be on everyone's minds already, as you're going to see Fury Gaming trying to get toward the back lines. Pristini obviously aware of such. Decides to go invest some time inside of the middle. Hardpoint wins the gunfight, but will quickly drop right after that. Looks like it's going to be C-Ball currently locking down the remaining seconds in bridge.
RC's here is allergic to the objective, but he's too busy feasting on the enemy team. Just bloodthirsty this game, was nearly double positive until just moments ago. And his team seems to be capitalizing on that as they extend their lead from what was about 20 seconds to close to 40 here. So now we move over to Turbine Hardpoint, where we saw last time Fury Gaming was able to hold a highly impactful amount of time here. eUnited beats him to it and has score streaks to press the issue.
And I feel like as well, this is kind of like eUnited in some cases beating up on the side of Fury, because I feel like coming into this tournament, they obviously have, in some cases, a little bit of a niche, kind of in some ways, I think it's fair to say, just obviously losing Gunless and adding in a player like Swarley, people asking, is eUnited going to be good anymore? And I think the guys on eUnited kind of took offense to that because they feel like that they are still a top team in this game, and RCD is obviously trying to prove that. But I wonder if this is them kind of just getting their anger out in some ways, as RCD is 22-11, make it 23-12 now, absolutely exploding and showing that not one player makes a team, it's the whole roster and the communication, the chemistry that they've built over a long time that has granted this team to still be a talented team.
You know what's really fun to me here as well, talking about this eUnited roster and just some of the changes going on with them and their roles and their identity as a team, is that Pristini keeps highlighting that he wants to get back to Black Ops 3 Pristini.
Days, yeah.
His time of playing on Apotheon Esports and what they were able to do at tournaments like MLG Anaheim, MLG Orlando last year. And it seems like RCDs has almost taken that from him this year. It seems like, and it's not even that Pristini is playing poorly now, it's just that obviously RCD's filled those shoes for him. So I'm just really curious to see how this team grows after their problems with Gunless and if they can remain a top squad.
I think it's also going to pay a lot toward their chemistry as well. I mean, losing a major player like Gunless is obviously going to factor into your chemistry, having to result to that because you don't necessarily have as much gun skill as you used to. So I think it's going to be, like you said, a little interesting transition to see how they kind of move forward throughout future tournaments and how they move, especially throughout Anaheim.
Right. Let's also follow the story of Fury Gaming, as Remy is on a 5-kill streak at the moment. He's working on that camo payload that's going to be so big for these next coming moments in the hardpoint, as eUnited is about a minute away from closing out this game. Remy has fallen from his graces that he was on that Team Revenge roster, and since then has just fallen in lower quality teams. So this is sort of his answer to that, trying to come back and still putting his all into this game as he works through the open bracket into the pool play matches. Getting into the drill hardpoint, though, we see it in control of eUnited, and Fury is on the offense.
They are. Swarley and the boys from eUnited trying to lock things down. Swarley ends up dropping Pristini, now trying to get his way back inside of drill. Not having a whole lot of people to contest him at the moment. C-Ball, the closest up front, able to have a nice gunfight actually there over on Silly. And his teammates coming through middle. We could see a little bit of a potential pinch coming in, but C-Ball drops, and now it looks like Heck ends up falling. Shipping does as well, and now Remy's left all by himself to try and contest. And eUnited, great defense to hold down this drill hardpoint, and now they're getting closer toward the 250 mark.
RC's got to have mercy, man. These guys just got out of the open bracket, and he's dropping 30 kills on them right now, about to make it double positive. That he does. And he's just a monster right now. I mean, we're seeing some light from players such as Remy. We're seeing some decent kills coming from Heck, but it's really just not enough when you consider the talent and the well-formed ability on the side of eUnited just taking over.
Oh, yeah, and I think it's been an interesting thing to kind of talk about the side of eUnited throughout most of the Infinite Warfare season. And every time that we'd go into, like, listen-ins or hear the communication, it just didn't sound like as stellar. Like, it wasn't, constant communication. It wasn't, like, having players kind of in some ways go back and forth at each other. It was kind of like a relaxing conversation is what their communication is like. And it's just something about these players that just works. And I mean, obviously, once you find that combination, it's great. But ever since you've got, Arcity, Silly, and Pristini together, something about this lineup just works in some cases. And obviously, they're showing it here as they're going to be up 232 to 148. And fortunately for the side of Fury, they just haven't had a whole lot of response.
And it is crazy to think about that. This United roster was the Ghosted crew back in Vegas, where they were able to get into pool play, take a series off the phase, and they lost all their others. Who knew that they were one roster change away from being able to win an event, right? Picking up Silly in place of Drama, that put this team on just at the top of their game and at the top of the game in the North American Call of Duty World League. And it seems like they're trying to stay in that realm. They're trying to stay a Tier 1 team here. And Fury Gaming has a really tough opponent to face right now with a chip on their shoulder, too.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see how the rotation does heading into Turbine. Only 10 more seconds needed for the side of eUnited to lock things down. It seems that there's going to be one player last alive. That's actually going to be Arcity. He's kind of making his way around the hard point, firing some extra shots, and actually maybe finding two there. Unfortunately for him, he'll end up dropping. Shipping will walk away with that particular gun engagement before dropping right after that. However, Remy locking down some time, doing what he does best, a support player back in the day for a number of different rosters, specifically for the old TR roster, like we mentioned earlier. But the push coming in, and the eUnited Slaying presence just too strong. Swarley, nice turn on there onto What the Heck, and that's going to do it. 250 to 185 will be our ending score for map number 1, Scorch Hardpoint. United takes it.
Yeah, Fury was definitely in the game up until the end of that first rotation. They put up a great fight. They just couldn't keep that consistency throughout the rest of the game. eUnited finally beat them on that initial rotation. The Turbine was able to mount up a bit of time there as well, and just increasing that deficit farther and farther every time. So eUnited is just going to take map number 1 pretty easily.
Yeah, I think that's what we would expect, too. I mean, it's not like we were coming into this being really high on Fury by any means. Of course, a win versus Fnatic is a win versus Fnatic, and that's a very impressive thing to have. But, I mean, coming against an eUnited roster like this, I mean, I think we both knew kind of coming into Anaheim. I mean, granted, you use Gunless. You lose him, but you still have a number of different talented slayers. I think this also kind of, in some ways, frees up Pristini to do a lot more slaying that he's been waiting to do for a while as well.
Right, unless Arcity takes it all for himself.
Exactly, yeah.
But getting into this Crush and Search and Destroy, that's going to be map number 2. Remember, guys, this is a best-of-5 series, the first team to 3 wins. For any of our newer viewers that might not be aware, eUnited is definitely the favorites in this series to possibly take it 3-0. This is a team with very high 3-0 potential. They've been able to take down your favorite player's favorite team, Optic Gaming and FaZe. They've been able to take both of those teams out on numerous different occasions. So, going up against the team Fury here, they have a juggernaut in North American Call of Duty to play against.
Yeah, and of course, when we do talk about that, they do end up losing Gunless, so in some cases it's not as the same roster that we'd expect in the past, but it's still a very talented roster nonetheless. I want to talk about the addition of Swarley in place of Gunless. Of course, we would all take Gunless in that particular regard. No offense to Swarley, of course, but what did Gunless really do to this roster that really elevated to that level, and maybe how can they get back to that same level?
Well, he's just able to put out these MVP-like performances consistently, right? If it's not him, it's Arcity's, and then he's, of course, going to follow it up in that same map at some point, right? If he starts slow for some reason, but he plays like a superstar. I wouldn't call him a superstar, but he puts up these performances that can obviously bring them to the end of a tournament. So speaking of the performances of these eUnited players, let's actually take a look at the box score for map number 1 while we get the players settled for Search and Destroy here. You can see Arcity's 33 kills, trying to fill those shoes from Gunless, and this is even something he did when Gunless was on the team, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Dropping that 1.65 KD, you could see there was the best person on the side of Fury was Remy, who just wasn't even close in KD.
Fortunately not, but he did try to do his best. Of course, most kills on the team. Ended up getting a 1 KD, which is good, and also nearly a minute of hill time as well. But of course, as we look at the top, you see 78 points to 48 over on Bridge. Turbine actually ended up going in Fury Gaming's way, so we do kind of talk about in past how important certain hills are. Money Hill not really being too much of a factor when it comes down to this matchup, but we do talk about Bridge. We also talk about Drill, 77 to 16 points. United held that down nearly perfect.
Yeah, it seems like whenever they wanted to break a Fury Gaming setup, they could just do it on a whim. They could just decide to, and it's very easy for them. And they would just hold it down, force their spawns out. It was a pretty easy, fundamental game of hardpoint for them, and they took over. So moving on into the Search and Destroy, I think we should expect a lot of the same, Landon. eUnited, with the replacement of Swarley in place of Gunless, should still be a force in that game mode.
Yeah, I might be expecting when it comes down to some Crusher Search and Destroy as well that we probably do see potentially some sniper rifles come out from Arstees. We've seen him make a number of different highlight plays with that in the past. I think we're going to see Swarley maybe transition to more as that objective player, of course, just being past roles and whatnot. Probably going to be having the bomb throughout most of this game as well. So I'm thinking the same. Not that I don't think that Fury has a potential to close this one out. I believe they ended up losing to Search and Destroy to Fnatic, if I did hear that correctly. So that was a game that they aren't feeling the most confident in, at least in past series. So this could be a map where we see eUnited yet again start to kind of rival forward.
Right, and even Fnatic in a bit of a decline was able to, in their bit of a decline at the moment in their form, were able to take the Search and Destroy off Fury according to you. So I gotta say that eUnited should be able to do the same here. Yeah. So we're loading right into the map. As you can see, Crusher, Search and Destroy. For any of our new viewers that might be tuning in, because Call of Duty World League has a pretty big reach. This is Search and Destroy. You plant the bomb, hope that the other team doesn't defuse it, and if you can, kill them before they even get the opportunity to do so. Both teams get the opportunity on offense and defense. As you can see, there's Site A and Site B. Those are the spots you want to attack. Typically, though, we see teams pick one designated bomb carrier to put that bomb down, and that's the objective that these guys will be focusing on.
Indeed, United will be on the offensive, like you just mentioned there. Fox for round number one. Arstees, like I mentioned in the pregame, pulling out the longbow. He's going to be guiding the way for the bomb carrier. Of course, like I said, that's going to be Swarley, the main objective man now for this roster. Other guys left up to kind of free and slay a little bit, just as that happens. Silly finding the first blood, shipping already dropping. Just like that, another one falls, and what the heck? Is able to at least find one gun engagement to go his way, but 2 versus 3 are we taking to have to come in here.
Oh, heck. Heck falls to Arstees there.
Oh, heck, man.
Oh, heck.
Darn it. That's a clever gamer tag, I'm not going to lie, though.
Arstees takes him down. Pretty swift round there. As soon as we saw the objective get planted, United was just able to close it out. Nothing too crazy going on here. Just both executes going on, and United getting the better of Fury. So now that the sides switch, it's going to be Fury's turn.
Indeed it will. We'll see what Arstees can do with that sniper rifle this time around. I don't think he ended up finding a sniper kill with it. We'll see what he can potentially do when it comes into this next round. Of course, choosing B, and he will choose right. Spots one that's actually going to be Remy, nearly staying alive. Immediately focuses his attention toward that wall run and letting his teammates know that a push is coming. Get back on the map, Arstees. This isn't looking good for you, pal. But either way, it is going to be this side of Team Fury who's going to get that bomb down.
Yeah, they gave Arstees coming out of the map right there, gave Fury a lot of time to move up here. So that's why you see him not getting too close until his teammates come to support him. He pushes that with a pistol with no follow-up. I'm not sure if that was just him being overzealous.
I respect the confidence, though. I'm not going to lie.
He was just boiling over with confidence for that engagement. But there's the flank coming in from Prestini. Heck and Remy push in to find themselves some kills. Swarley wins a really shaky gunfight there against Heck, and Remy tries to reset the situation, find some distance between himself and Swarley, who still has to kill him and defuse the bomb. But Remy is, of course, not going to make that very easy on him. Oh, catches him off guard. That's a bomb defuse.
Nice play there from Swarley. As, of course, he's been the main objective man to plant a defuse to his name, and also 3 kills in that round. Great play there from him as he's going to earn that Scarab, now only 175 points away from that next streak. So 2-0 is eUnited, winning both an offense and a defensive one. Like I said, nice clutch there from Swarley. Nice to see that he's also playing pretty well this tournament. And Search and Destroy at the very least.
So that is 2 rounds straight. At least in this round, Fury was able to put up more kills. So not falling behind too far in the payload war. Still need to get some rounds on the board, though, because if they can't, it's obviously not going to matter.
Who do you want to see from the side of Fury? You want to see anybody in specific?
I mean, we got a sniper, right? Let's see if the sniper can sort of make a difference and lighten the load that they're going to have to deal with once they get to the site here.
C-Ball, show me something, C-Ball. Show me something, C-Ball. There you go, C-Ball. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes,
they would have pined Arstees down. Sniper battle, 1 versus 1 on
another one.
The other. Silly has a sniper rifle too.
Hold that. Silly puts him down. He
just when C-Ball gets some confidence, he's like, "Let's go, man." I should have done sniper. Silly's like, "Nah, man. I'll pick that up and I'll just destroy it."
I'm gonna just take that right back. Thank you.
Exactly. On the opposite side, though, it's going to be Swarley making his way with the objective. Looks like Team Fury most likely not aware that bomb is going to be going down.
There's a free bomb plant, Landon. You see that right there?
Indeed, I do. And Silly is actually might have a free snipe if potential. It's not the best location to have it play right behind Silly at the moment. Needs to find the kill. Not able to make that one happen. And now Swarley, after getting that bomb down, thank you for the free kill on shipping. That's a little bit of an awkward engagement. Either way, 2 versus 2. We'll see what Fury can finally get around to the board.
So 75 points away there. I think that's Swarley that's about to get a bombardment here. That would be pretty big for the team. So hopefully Prestini can set him up for success here. You definitely want to see the two eUnited players work together in these last 15 seconds to just keep him alive. That bombardment in the Trinity rocket would definitely win them a lot more rounds than even risking it for this. You can see they're going to stay outside of the site here.
They don't have time. This is it. Doesn't matter if Herbie gets these 2 kills
Gotta
or not.
kill him. Nope.
It looks great, and he'll obviously say peace, but man, that's not a round that's going to go in your favor. That's 3 rounds now in favor of the side of eUnited. It's kind of an awkward way to play it, but honestly, there was some confidence out of eUnited. They're like, you know what, we're in a 2 versus 2. I don't think they're going to want to go for the defuse.
Yeah, they just knew.
Yeah, good overall confidence, I guess. And when you played and been at the same stage that they have, constant grand finals, you start to earn some of that veteranship over time and start to make some reads. I think that's what we saw there.
3-0 lead for eUnited. It's looking pretty scary if you're on the side of Fury Gaming. They do have their opportunity at an offensive round here now, but as you've seen, it hasn't worked out so far for them. Something's got to change here, and it's got to change soon because eUnited looks like they're going to walk away with this map as well. This is, of course, the first to 6, so we can only go to an extensive round of 11 rounds in the Search and Destroy. C-Ball here hesitating a bit to put the bomb down because we do see some score sheets coming in from the sky. Those are going to be the Trinity rockets that Swarley earned. They're not going to connect, but they will give eUnited valuable information, Landon.
They do 1 player lingering through the back. That is going to be Pristini. Looks like getting some information from his teammates about plays going down on the bomb. C-Ball weak, decides to back up. Silly finding the first blood of this round number 4. Kills start to come down. C-Ball trying to find a few, but no, he'll end up dropping. Remy's the last alive. He's nearly able to stay alive. Actually shuts down Swarley on the wall run. 1v2 engagement now, and he's not able to walk away with that one either. Things not looking good for Fury yet again, as they're going to be now down 0 rounds to 4. eUnited continuing to go on a spree, as you're going to see Pristini there in the round-ending kill cam.
Yeah, it's just all of eUnited's play calls are working and seemingly going uncontested. They want to execute something, they do it, and it works out perfectly for them. And that reflects in the score here, 4-0. Lots of clean victories other than what? The very first, the second round, maybe?
Yeah. And a whole lot of positives for the side of this Team Fury lineup. At least you can point out that Remy, close to active kill, unfortunately not going to earn it in this round because he ends up dropping, and now C-Ball left all by himself. 1 versus 3, tags up 1, can't even find him. Please don't tell me RC's killed him.
I mean, he hit him in the back shield.
I know, but please don't tell me that RC's killed him.
Looked like a team shot. I think there were 2 players here.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
see.
I know, shot. But still. That's hard to see. That's hard to watch.
Sucks that he couldn't finish the kill. I think he just thought he finished it off.
Yeah.
1 shot away.
It happens.
Couldn't finish the job.
It happens. Well, Fury, it's going to be difficult, to say the least. You need 6 rounds in a row to be perfect and to walk away with this game number 2. Definitely
good luck.
Not looking likely, but we'll obviously see what they can try and produce here. Crazier things have happened before. But
yeah, there are teams at eUnited's level that can't even pull this off, so it's going to be a difficult challenge for Fury here as they push aggressively through the A site. We do have Remy watching you. He's going to read a flank coming in from there, but that's going to be Silly around the corner, playing patiently alongside Swarley. If you take a look at your mini-map, you can see the action unfold. eUnited is trying to come in here from all angles and just sort of trap them.
Everyone playing passive, no players dropping as of yet. That's about to change, says Pristini, trying to fire some shots away over toward that A site. Finds at least 1 or 2. Pristini and RC's combining for a few. Pristini will rock that FTL jump, and now 1 player last alive. Shipping, it's all up to you, my friend, and you end up falling as well. A hot 6-0 coming out in the Search and Destroy from eUnited, as they will now be up 2-0.
Yeah, that's a demoralizing Search and Destroy. Typically, when you see a lot of upcoming teams facing these more established rosters, that's the game modes they at least think they have a chance in, right? They think that they're more even-footed, but right here we're seeing eUnited come out the gates with that 6-0, and I just don't expect it being too much different in this uplink here. But hey, maybe Fury Gaming can surprise us. I mean, the Gosu crew, this original eUnited roster back in CWL Las Vegas, were able to take uplink off of FaZe Clan, and that was one of their big moments in the series. So, maybe Fury Gaming can upset them a little bit here, but it's going to be a really difficult task, and that's assuming a whole lot of things go wrong for eUnited.
Absolutely. And there's 1 player that I'm looking at for Fury. He's been Remy. He's been playing pretty well throughout the most of this game, and honestly, I would imagine he'd be in the captain role for this particular roster. So maybe if he can kind of get under the guys, maybe say, you know what, let me take over. Let me kind of control this uplink and kind of let you guys work around me. Maybe we could see Fury steal a map. It's just not looking likely.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult, but guys, we will find out after this commercial break how everything turns out. So everyone at home, make sure you stay tuned. Tweet out the stream with the hashtag CWL Anaheim. We'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back, everyone, to the CWL Anaheim Open, presented by the PlayStation 4. Lando, Fox on hand, currently guiding you guys through a pretty interesting series going on right now between eUnited and Fury Gaming. eUnited pretty much destroying, to say the least, currently up 2-0, and there's been a major factor as to why that's been happening. Some major players we're looking at from eUnited. One of them in specific has got to be Arcides. Talk to me a little bit about Arcides, Fox. What does he do exactly when it comes down to being around the map, and what really kind of provides that extra slaying power that United needs?
Well, he's just so dangerous with his shot, right? That NV4, he's obviously shown himself as one of the better NV4s in the pro scene. He's someone that's difficult to challenge at really any range. He's someone that's just a factor you always have to keep into account because of how devastating his lock-on aim is, right? If he snaps to you and you don't get that first shot off, it's over. It's going to be really difficult to beat someone like him. His twin brother, Prestini, always there to play the supportive role. He's just got a great cast around him as well. So when you have skill like this and 3 teammates to back it up, you're tough to beat.
Oh, absolutely. You kind of see the consistency there. 1.05 overall, uplink 1.07, hardpoint 1.05. Of course, we talk about the uplink one, 1.07, kind of bringing up as we head in here toward uplink on Frost. I got to ask, I guess, a prediction. I know what you're going to say exactly, but I feel like it's only right that we do ask at least for a prediction. I'm going to get an exact score. I'm going to get an exact score of a prediction. I know you're going to say United, but I'm going to get an exact score. What you think?
United is pretty good. Yeah. Right? I think that would be safe to say that.
I think it's fair to say that, yeah.
Fury Gaming, at least in this series, is not good. So I think that it's pretty safe to say that eUnited can close out this 3-0 here. I think that they're working off of the 6-0 victory. They're working off of their obvious confidence as being a Tier 1 team. And Fury Gaming has to be feeling pretty demoralized at this stage in the series. So I find it very hard to believe.
I want an exact score. Give me an exact score.
You want an
All right,
let's say 10-2 eUnited.
Okay, I respect that. I can go on board with that.
They're winning by double digits, actually, so anything above that.
Okay. All right, I'll let you kind of take on board with that one as we're going to hop in here toward some round number 1, or half number 1, I guess you could say, of some Frost uplink shots already being exchanged. A Shipping now going to have that drone in his hands. Kind of a little bit curious to actually have that one in his hands. He's going to kind of run back toward this ice side and try to make a play happen. But like we said, we already talked about a player to be watching out for. It's going to be Arcides, starting off 4-0, 50 points away from that Scarab. And we talked about how important active camo is to an uplink game. Just so happens that he has one of the most important payloads when it comes down to this uplink. He's definitely going to be earning that one.
Yeah, and you have to remember my my stellar analysis of eUnited here is that they're pretty good. So let's see how they play on this base defense here. C-Ball frontlining with the drone, but no, he actually has the help of Remy. The 1-point play goes in. RCD clears out the base, but that was a great supporting play from Remy there to help his drone carrier, and they put some points on the board. The first point on the board in this uplink.
Nice play there from Remy. Also a very decent shot there coming in out of C-Ball, having a number of different players right in his face, and was able to make that one happen regardless. Shots being exchanged. Looks like Swirly might have escaped there with the drone. 1-point toss off and an immediate response there coming in out of eUnited, as we're now level up at 1 apiece.
2 players alive for both teams. Only one of the 2 players from eUnited is actually going towards this middle map engagement. He finds himself outnumbered, and Shipping is actually able to take him down anyway. So now the rest of eUnited is going to have to play this middle map engagement pretty heavily outnumbered. What the heck opens up with a kill onto Prestini. RCDs and Silly are responding, and somehow they actually came out on top in the numbers game here.
They do. Big engagement going over towards Shipping, but he doesn't realize there's a few eUnited players right behind him. This Prestini will shut him down. That drone immediately comes back into his hands. A bit of a drone swipe just for good measure. Looks like they'll be making their way up here toward that ship side. Be going a little bit of a wall, running out a whole lot of teammate support. He's actually kind of leading the way right now. Player right behind him might go and take up the drone for himself. That's going to be Arstides. They want him because he's got the active camo. The dunk will come into play. Maybe even a kill on top of that. Arstides needs to reload. He's one shot, but his teammate, Prestini, his twin brother, will be there for the assistance. And it looks like the scoring opportunities are going to continue. Silly passes it over to Arstides, and here comes another 2-point play. Arstides just teasing with us a little bit. The overextension coming in from Fury. Possibly the reason for the delay, but obviously, like we said,
here it goes.
This is just a no intention of a Fury, but this is just getting out of hand early on.
Oh no, it's happening. This is where it happens. This is where it all begins. eUnited's pouring it on with a bunch of free, uncontested dunks. The score streaks are coming in. RCDs is working on even more of his own. Fury Gaming has to stay in cover, meaning they can't stop it, and it's just gonna continue pouring in as RCDs puts another 2 points on the board and finds himself with a bombardment.
And they cannot stop this right now. Like this, I mean, just as I say that, they're able to get at least some sort of defensive plays going. But regardless, I mean, that's exactly what eUnited can do. This roster is still scary, my friends. I mean, this is not a team to take lightly by any means. As the kills start to come in, Arstides wants yet again another 2-point play. He's already got the bombardment. He's even close to his active camo. And we're only a few minutes into this game. Make it now 11 points overall. 8 of those coming from Arstides himself. And now it's going to be a 5-possession game already, Fox.
Let's make the new competition as to who on the side of eUnited can get the most kills here. We're 4 minutes into the game, and they're already leading by 10. I think that even when the sides switch, the advantage they've built up from these payloads and these score streaks is going to just be such a huge mountain for Fury Gaming to climb that I just don't see eUnited even slipping to make it any easier. But on the side of eUnited, we did mention just how strong RCDs could be. So far in the game, he's double positive, working on that payload, as you mentioned. And here we have Shipping trying to defend his base. This is probably the best base defense they've had in the past 4 minutes, so that's really good for him to find those 2 kills.
Absolutely. Remy tossing that drone over toward his teammates. Prestini doing a great job of just trying to delay that offensive push for as long as possible. C-Ball tossing that drone over toward his teammate Shipping, who's ready to try and do some of that early lead engaging. Firing some more shots. Remy now with the drone in his hands. Can he make a play happen? He's got no teammate support. He's going to have to go for the fade 1-point toss, and unfortunately, that one actually ends up going through. I didn't think that was even possible to make happen, so major props to Remy, but unfortunately, his team is still down by 9 points, and we still got another minute, or still 5 more minutes left in this next half coming up.
Yeah, we're gonna need about 9 more of those, Fury Gaming, if you want to get yourself back into this game, but you're gonna have to do it into the face of bombardments, Trinity rockets, and payloads. There's just so many things they're gonna have to fight through if they want to win this game, and they only have 5 minutes to do it. It's not going to be easy. Swirly, surrounded by 2 players. This offensive drive from eUnited is shut down. 5 seconds remaining, though, and eUnited's coming up off spawn. We're not going to see another score happen. This is the score we're going into the second half with.
Ugh, man, that was not fun.
Oh, this can't feel good.
Yeah.
This can't feel good.
I really don't know what to say at this point. I mean, just to be completely honest with you. Like, so we thought maybe there was some potential for Fury Gaming to kind of bring this one back in some ways. Like, it wasn't obviously a major momentum swing, but you got to always give credit to the underdog at times. But
I mean, they made it this far, so that's impressive in and of itself, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? Obviously, we did hear the result about them 3-1-ing Fnatic. By no means is Fnatic a bad team by any means. So they obviously have something. It's just eUnited is something better. There's something stronger, and there's something that's absolutely terrifying when it comes down to this uplink map on Frost. As kills already starting to begin as we load into our next 5 minutes. I think the highest uplink score that I've seen so far this weekend came from Splice. It was around 23 points.
Oh, no.
I wonder if we could
Who
see
are they
United
going
potentially
against?
break that.
I didn't get to see that
I'm not
match.
100% sure, but I just know that they scored 23 points.
Yeah, that's a pretty great uplink team there, so no surprises at all. RC still holding on to these score streaks because he doesn't need them.
He doesn't need them.
I think that his team and their contribution to this map so far is equal to that of the Bombardment. So they're just kind of playing around the drone here. All of Fury Gaming spawning up in their base. The camo here should be able to be the difference maker for the dunk.
My.
Finds the beatdown. 2 more points on the board.
That's what we call a poster. Dunking on
poster?
somebody and putting it in the hole.
I'm sorry, I don't.
That's what I'm talking about.
I follow real sports. They use controllers and mice and keyboards.
That's
all right?
esports, actually.
No, this is. Just kidding.
That'd be esports. Nice
This
try.
triggered so many people up.
You triggered me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but still, some time is left in this game, and it's really just eUnited's time to shine. I guess some highlights potentially that could come up. We've been highlighting Arceus quite a bit. Pristini though, 23 and 14. Definitely playing his game, the E-Rad in hand, definitely being as aggressive as he wants to be. And, he's obviously playing pretty well. 2 drone scores as well. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, 2 drone
Arceus
scores.
has 10, but, still. He's got more kills.
I didn't even realize
That
it was
brother-brother rivalry, I'm sure, is definitely kind of coming into play right now.
Oh, man. They got to stop Pristini at some point, right? I mean, he can't just sit back here for. Oh, all right, I guess he can. Okay. Heck is able to come back and stop him. The rest of eUnited making moves with the drone while that's going on, so no one's really here to answer it. So another 2 points on the board. Why not, right? You've already been doing it for about 8 minutes. Might as well continue it. Arcides turns and is able to take down Shipping just as he comes out of the tunnel. Now we see the Bombardment coming because he knows they're all outside. This is going to disrupt their push, and it's going to force them inside blue, and it's going to be another free drone run.
Swarley, you got this, man? He does got this, and the player just absolutely gets destroyed on the other side. That was C-Ball. 17-2, eUnited still looking strong. Swarley on the outside, still trying to make some plays happen, trying to get involved. He's currently in 3rd place as far as the kill column is considered. He's the objective guy, at least should be the objective guy for most of the time, but Arceus is kind of taking that one over in most regards.
Snowball still rolling here.
Very clever, very clever.
Oh, that was completely unintentional, actually.
I think
just
that
thought
you
about
totally
this
did that on
being
purpose.
crossed.
I think you did that on purpose.
I don't know, man. It just comes to me. These things just come to me.
Yeah, this is definitely not a snowball fight, let's just say that.
I mean, what is there to say here, really?
I know, I kind of want to sit on the
Gaming?
controller. I just kind of want to sit on the controller.
What can they do here to come back?
Oh, yeah, let's talk about it. Okay,
points
if
in
we're
2
Fury
minutes?
Gaming right now, we obviously beat Fnatic. We lose to eUnited. In some cases, obviously trying to take some positives from a match like this, I feel like as professional players, as semi-pros, as top semi-pros as well, you gotta kind of have, in some ways, that short-term memory. Like, kind of wipe this away. Like, in some cases, you're acting as if you're just kind of practicing for the next match. This is us shooting bots in some cases. That's exactly how eUnited probably feels right now. But
eUnited's going to forget about this series as soon as it ends.
Yeah,
I feel
but
like
I feel like if you're Fury, though, you kind of have to wipe this away from your memory and try to move forward. And while that is going to be very difficult, it's just such a hard thing to do. But I don't know, man. It's just something about eUnited that just makes them so strong. And Fury Gaming is just, like I said, they've got to have that short-term memory when it comes to the next few series.
Yeah, and I mean, that is the obstacle of these teams coming from open bracket. They have to be able, this is like the rite of passage, right? They have to be able to fight through things like this if they want their chance to get into that top pro scene. So Fury Gaming, if they can bounce back from this and just try and find a victory in their upcoming matches, then that'll be really good for them. But you can't expect, that would be taking a lot away from eUnited if they really came in here expecting to just stomp them.
Ooh, Arceus. Nice wall run, my friend. Oh, nice job, Arceus. How does he
still
not get
alive?
the melee? Arceus.
Oh, he's still alive.
Oh, my goodness, Arceus, please don't. Please, thank you. Thank you for not getting that. 12 drone scores to his name, 27 kills. Pristini, though, 31 kills in his own regard. I don't know where we're at right now, at the bottom of the map. Either way, 15-point disadvantage for the side of Fury Gaming. Only 40 seconds left before this series is in the books. Heck has the drone in hand. C-Ball might try to get the drone score off, but he's at least able to get the 1-point toss there. Some positives there from the Team Fury guys.
Connecting with it. I can't imagine their comms are too positive aside from what might have happened there when he threw that 1-point play in. This is a tough loss to take.
Tough pill to swallow.
For sure. But eUnited definitely forcing the issue here. Shipping, finding a 2-piece here. We see another drone opportunity here, though, Landon.
They do. Oh, there it went. There it goes.
It's gone.
I just thought about as well other teams that Fury had to look forward to play against. Optic Gaming is one of those teams.
Oh, no.
So
it's only going to get harder from here.
It is. But either way, that is going to do it for this series. eUnited do complete the 3-0 sweep, winning this uplink in pretty dominant fashion, 17-3. Of course, we'll recap all the maps in our post-game scoreboards. But either way, not exactly what we weren't going to expect. I mean, eUnited definitely coming out with a 3-0. Thought we might maybe see at least one map go to Fury and coming into this match, but eUnited quick to kind of throw those predictions to the wayside.
There's always that question, right? You don't really know too much about these players. Of course, we have lots of history on a player like Remy in the Call of Duty scene, but his teammates definitely have much less of a history. So speaking of history, let's go ahead and review this series very quickly in the box scores and just have a little bit of a laugh at the RCD show here in the hard point. As you can see, we talked about this a little earlier on, that 1.65 KD. No one was able to shoot back. RCD was doing as he pleased, roaming around the map, allergic to the hill. He has 57 seconds here, but his teammates were definitely far above him for most of that map.
Yeah, we also did talk about the hills as well when it comes into eUnited. We talked about Turbine, Hangar, definitely ones you can lock down quite a few seconds in, but it really wasn't the case for the side of eUnited, holding down a lot of time when it came down to that first hill and bridge, and then obviously that last hill over on drill. Just goes to show the complexities of eUnited, what they can do, and really in every hard point.
So now our question was, are we going to see Fury Gaming do something that we can kind of expect or at least predict from teams coming from the open bracket, is take a search and destroy off of these pro players. That's where they can be the most vulnerable. That's their least practiced game mode. And when they do practice it and sort of theory craft their strategies, it's based on what other pro teams do. So let's take a look at the box score and see how Fury Gaming did.
As far as search and destroy, wasn't exactly something that you'd like to replicate again. Of course, you see Swarley down there, 7-2. Of course, the objective man as well. Got a few bomb plants in there, but 7-2 overall. 3.5 KD. Played pretty well, and of course, you see eUnited 6 rounds in a row.
Yeah, I mean, how do you win against that, man? It was just eUnited stacking it up with their payloads and their score streaks. Fury wasn't able to respond. It was a tough loss from there. And then getting into the uplink, it just doesn't get any easier. The uplink, as you just saw, ending 17-2 to close out this series 3-0. There wasn't at any point in time, other than the first maybe 2 minutes, where Fury scored that 1 point where it looked like it was going to go their way.
Here comes Fury, and then it was just like an absolute monstrosity of amount of points. So it was just like play after play after play, tossing and throwing into dark and whatnot. But let's go and take a quick look at the scorecard there for that uplink. Of course, you can kind of see the differential in scores there from that first half, 11-2, and of course 6-1 in that second one. And of course, we do see the players at the bottom, RCDs, of course, being mentioned yet again, Fox.
Yeah, that's got to hurt. I can't feel good. Very one-sided affair here in this series, of course. With a team like eUnited, they have the best practice in the world, and that's what sets them apart from so many teams and so many players in Call of Duty. We've got like a couple million people playing Call of Duty. These 4 players in eUnited are some of the best. So that's why you see situations and scoreboards like these. You know, when you put them against a lot of competition that doesn't have the same practice partners, the same tournament experience, that's just kind of the result you should predict.
Indeed it is. Well, guys, that's going to conclude it for this series. When we come back, we're going to have Luminosity coming up against Rogue. Hopefully that's a closer series. We'll see what happens. But, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back here live from Anaheim.